with the rebound and pops it up.
Good run out defensively by Irvin Johnson on Jordan's 3 attempt. Seattle still looks tentative.
There's the double team on Schrempf, and Payton fires. Hits the 3. Gary Payton, who played 47 minutes in game number 1 and probably will continue to log that kind of time with Nate McMillan bothered by the back problem.
Gary Payton, he can play the whole game. George Karl told us beforehand he felt that Gary did get a little fatigued, as did Stan Perkins down the stretch, but Gary's got to compete for full 48 here.
Longley got himself trapped and he's called for steps.
Poor recognition by Longley that time. Just had the little man Gary Payton on him on the defensive scrambling switch. No need to get fancy there. Just step through and slam.
The Bulls with their second turnover. They committed just one in the first half the other night. Hawkins for 3. And a loose ball foul against the Sonics.
Already we've seen Seattle run 3 pick-and-roll plays with Gary Payton. They ran precious few in game 1, and that's a big play for Gary Payton, except that the spacing has to be a lot better.
And that was foul number 3 on Irvin Johnson right here, coming over the back of Dennis Rodman.
I'm sure George Karl does not really care about fouls with Irvin Johnson. He's not going to play that many minutes to begin with. He only played 9 the other night. George just wants to get the most out of him he can. Sam Perkins is going to play the heavy minutes.
7 rebounds for Johnson in just under 5 minutes in this first quarter. Jordan gets inside. And the game is tied at 12.
Jordan flashing from the weak side. And when Pippen is guarded by Payton, there's just no pressure on the pass because Payton is so short.
A wild shot by Payton, or perhaps he was trying to lay it off the glass for Kemp.
Well, Marv, when you come in there as a guard, coming to the basket, you just want to get it over the defender so your guy can come and slam it home from the weak side, as Kemp did.
Foul was called on Pippen. A timeout is taken with 6:43 to go in this first quarter. Franchise. He was actually the Sonics' first pick, 5th overall in the draft back in 1987, but never played for Seattle.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
Well, I think as a young player and coming out of NAIA high school, I was very excited just to get drafted that highly. And, you know, knowing when I left my hotel room that there was a trade on the table for me to come to Chicago after being drafted by Seattle, I was just pretty much, I guess, happy and hoping that the trade went through so I would have a chance to play with Michael.
Well, the Sonics immediately traded, is it Scott Pippen, I believe David Stern mentioned? Scottie Pippen to the Bulls for Olden Polynice and a second-round draft pick. You recall the Sonics nearly got Scottie Pippen back in a deal involving Sean Kemp 2 years ago.
That was the deal that was on the table that Seattle pulled back. Remember, that was during the time that Jordan was not playing basketball. Chicago looking more to the future. I think both teams very happy that that trade was not made.
Actually, the trade that was not made changed the history, the recent history of the NBA. Michael Jordan said he might not have come back if Pippen were not a member of the Bulls. And here is Pippen with a nice three, and just defeats the 24.
Well, the Bulls coming out of that timeout with trying to go inside to Scottie Pippen against Payton, which is something we anticipated a lot more of, to make him work down low. If not necessarily to get the post play, but to get some offensive rebounds as well.
So the Bulls by 1, just under 6 minutes remaining first quarter. Crowd wanted to travel on Payton. Hawkins for Schrempf, and he just did beat the 24-second buzzer.
Seattle's pump faking too much. Go right at him. These defenders are waiting for them. They're not getting in the air at all. Seattle hasn't established enough of a game where a pump fake means anything.
Hawkins rejected by Kemp.
Scottie Pippen saying, so you're the Defensive Player of the Year. I just faced you up. I should have won that award.
Yes, Scottie certainly enjoyed doing it against the man they call the Glove. 5.5 remaining in this opening quarter. Down to 7 on the shot clock, and the Glove just did pick one off.
Good poke away by Perkins as well.
Schrempf. Well, Detlef Schrempf missed his first 4, similar to the scenario in game 1. Got off to the slow start, and that was his first field goal. Sonics lead by 1.
Good thing for Seattle is how many shot attempts they're getting, as Jordan is feeling it perfectly early on. But Seattle has taken twice as many shots as Chicago has. That's something they don't normally do.
About 10 offensive rebounds, but Bill, they've only turned it into 4 points, so it really doesn't matter how many you get, other than it shows you're aggressive, but you got to capitalize.
Here's Schrempf. Kemp. Oh, what a move by Sean Kemp. So Kemp with 8 points.
In years past, Sean Kemp would have made that play into something so much more difficult. He would have tried to double clutch and scoop, flip shot. Who knows how you can describe it. Now just playing so disciplined, so under control.
Jordan. The fadeaway on target, and Michael is 5 of 7. He has 10 points. Bulls lead by 1.
Talking to Ahmad before the game after his conversation with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan lights up when he sees Hersey Hawkins as a defender.
Jordan for Rodman with Payton back. Gets the back to Pippen. Well, that would have been nice.
Not enough Bulls running the floor.
Hawkins for 3. And back comes Jordan. Pippen putting the move on Hawkins. And hit it. Bulls lead 20-17.
Now, this is Chicago Bull basketball. Any kind of steal, any kind of missed shot, they want to get out on run, but so far, they look very tired to me. Very heavy legged.
But, man, it's also Seattle Sonic basketball. The question is it enough? These teams are so similar. It often seems, though, like Seattle just comes up a little bit short, almost as if they're Bulls light.
Very nice, Bill.
Now Scottie Pippen getting out and running, sensing the fast break, making sure he gets down the floor quickly and able to get the throw-ahead pass and finish. Pass from Pippen, double team, just too slow to get there as Michael turns away from it for that jump shot, and now just taking Hersey Hawkins down to the baseline. Payton coming way too light as Michael rises in the air.
But the good thing for Seattle is the type of shots Jordan's getting. In game 1 against Detlef Schrempf, he was just driving right through. Hersey Hawkins forced him to the fadeaway. Hannah Storm's got a report from the Sonic bench.
George Karl asking Gary Payton if he wanted to switch off defensive assignments and take Ron Harper. He's going to do that. He's also telling his team that the Bulls overreact to their penetration, so don't forget when they penetrate to kick it back out. Simple basketball, he's telling his team to stick to the basics. Bill? Mark?
Take your pick, Bob. That is the second turnover committed by the Sonics. 3:06 remaining in this first quarter, and the Bulls lead by 1.
Well, we talked about Payton having to have a huge offensive night. He's only 1 for 3 tonight to start the game. Not a good sign for Seattle.
And a foul called by Ed Rush. Foul committed by Kemp, and that is his second.
Scottie and Michael anticipating a little denial overplay by Gary Payton, trying to set up a backcourt cut to the basket. Terrific help on the part of Sean Kemp. The body was there, but the reach in, and he just cannot afford to pick up those kind of fouls. He had his body there, he just had to keep his arms tighter.
So much of defense is anticipation. We saw Irvin Johnson in the early going just standing there flat-footed. That time, Sean Kemp did not even make a play for the ball, did not visualize in advance what could possibly happen. Now he's on the bench watching, dreaming about it.
And the Bulls now lead 22-19. Tony Kukoc on the floor, applying some pressure on David Wingate, who just checked in. Wingate with 2 minutes of playing time the other night and picked up 2 quick fouls. in trying to guard Michael Jordan. Illegal defense called for the first time.